Hey, today I want to talk to those of you who are having trouble just trying to hear chords or trying to find out what people are playing online. Every once in a while, you're going to hear something on an album, on a record, on a song that you just can't figure out. So this is a video for you. I'm going to go over 5 stages that your ear needs to go through, and it's very important that you understand these stages. And I also want to talk to you about why every gospel musician should be transcribing. All right, so let me know if you identify with this story. Let's take a guy, let's just call him John, all right? So John wants to be able to play the piano. He sees some people playing, he wants to play. He doesn't have formal training, but he gets a mentor, right? He gets a mentor to show him some chords, somebody who can just show him a little bit of stuff, and before long, he's playing, all right? But to take it to the next level and to play for church, he wants to go, and he wants to look at some of what the church people are doing, so he kind of tries to borrow their chords. He asks them, hey, what are y'all doing? He goes online. He gets tutorials for songs, okay? And in time, what happens is he learns so much from online, getting different things, that his skill set is really high. He sounds real good, but yet his ear is still not developed. So if he hears something that's cool, he doesn't really know what it is, right? But he has his own stuff, right? He just can't. In order to get something new, he has to ask the person, or he has to get a tutorial on it. So the first thing you need to do is tell me, does this sound, if you resonate with this, or if this sounds like, it could be you at some level, right? Because you'll be surprised at how many emails I'm getting, right, every week. And some of you watching, you're probably one of them. Sean, show me this. What is this? What do you think this is? This is bombarding my email. So it's, I was thinking it's better to tell people how to develop their ear, because see, here's the thing. You can be a good player, but your ear still not know how to pick up new things for yourself. So your playing level could be up here, but then your ear could be down here. And the idea is that we grow together. So our ear grows with our hands, grows with our vocabulary. And so what we want to do in this video is show you the 5 steps to growing your ear. There's 5 steps, or I call them stages. It's 5 stages to growing your ear. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, so in the first stage, what we're trying to do is find the distance between 2 notes. We're trying to find the distance between 2 notes. So for instance, can you tell how far away those are? Okay, what kind of interval is that? What do you think this is? Let's try another one. What kind of interval is that? So you really want to get good at hearing the distance. Interval is concerned with distance. Perfect pitch is concerned with notes. And it's the distances that help me to transcribe on my channel and do some of the things that I'm doing, because I don't have perfect pitch, and people have tested it, asked me what notes are, and usually I'm a half or whole step off, but my relative pitch has gotten pretty good. All right, so next stage is that you want to be able to hear the difference between a major and minor qualities, mostly triads. If you can hear the difference between this and this, then you can play a bunch of songs. Faithful is our God, Here I Am to Worship, How Great is Our God. All these things, all of these songs use 90% major and minor chords. I did a video on He Saw the Best in Me, and how that only uses 2 chords, right? And then then they went to that minor chord. So being able to hear major versus minor is very important. The neat thing about this stage with hearing between major and minor at stage 2, that's really good if you can get good at it at this stage, is that, think about this, the diatonic triads, where you follow the number system, right? So in each key you have 7 notes and 7 chords that go along with those 7 notes, right? And out of those 7 chords that you would mainly have, that you're going to mainly use for most songs, 3 out of the 7 are major chords. 2 out of the 7 are minor. That leaves 1 that is neither, did I say that right? That leaves 1 that is neither major or minor. So check out what I'm saying. that's 6 out of 7 chords are either major or minor. You see how important that is, that your ear be able to distinguish that, because that's most songs. Okay, so basically, you know, some of you, if you're trying to stop at pretty simple songs, you could stop at even stage 2, and I got 5 stages. But stage 2 is going to take you pretty far. Stage 1, stage 2 will take you pretty far. But it's stage 3 that you really, that's really where a lot of the core stuff happens. Because what happens at stage 3 is that you hear between those 4 main chords. When I started, this was a big aha moment for me, because when I first started my channel, people were like, there's hundreds of chords, Sean. How are you hearing all these different chords? But the big aha moment was that I didn't have to hear between hundreds of chords. I said to myself, you know what? Most of these chords are all boiling down to either major, minor, dominant. What do you think the last one I'm going to say is? And minor 7 flat 5, half diminished, right? Somebody's going to say, what about diminished? How come you didn't give us the 4 types of chords, like major, minor, augmented, and diminished? Because those aren't the chords that I'm hearing in songs that I'm actually transcribing. What I'm hearing are the ones I mentioned. And so those are the ones that I'm hearing most often. When you're hearing a lot of the fancy stuff that you're hearing, those are the chords that are being used. Every once in a while, they'll sprinkle a diminished in there, but diminished are easy to hear, right? You'll hear a phrase that goes like that. Well, that's easy to hear, because I can hear that those are diminished, and then I can hear that it's ending on a major. So at stage 3, I don't even care. Again, you see, I'm not getting into those details until some of the later stages. I'm still only concerned about being able to tell what of the 4 of these 4 categories, which one is it in. That's it. You feel me? And that's all I'm doing. Now, I use another process for runs. Maybe I'll do another video with that. I'm just talking about chords right now. But this is an important step, because just being able to hear those 4 types is gonna get you really far. Especially if you know the key of a song. And most songs are going to have these. For most gospel songs, these are the 4 chords. What else? What are the kind of chords you're going to have outside of these that appear often in songs, right? So, when I'm transcribing, that's what I'm listening for. And I know, and let me just say this too. I'm listening for these 4 chords, right? But what's really important is I'm listening for where these chords sit in the song, because that gives me a lot of clues. It gives me a lot of clues. Because and let me go back to He Saw the Best in Me, right? Now this chord right there, that chord right there, I would know that it's dominant because of the intervals, but I would also know it's dominant because it's going from this to this. And in stage 1, I had to listen to the distance between 2 notes, because if you didn't skip that stage, you'd be able to tell that it went down a perfect 5th, which gives you a clue of that's a dominant chord. So that's what I meant by where does it sit within the song. Okay, where the chord actually, I'm saying where it sits. Most people use the word placement. All right, let's go on to stage 4. So check this out. In stage 4, we don't learn anything new. You don't learn no new chords. Someone will say, but what about, you forgot a bunch of chords. You forgot augmented and diminished and sus2 and sus4. And okay, so check it, right? I see sus2 and sus4 as a type of major chord. I put it in a major category, and I put diminished as an auxiliary, what I call an auxiliary chord, because diminished are mostly used as passing chords anyway. So I don't really have them as the main thing that I'm trying to hear. What stage 4 does is All it is it's listening for the extensions and the little color tones outside, like the 9ths and the 11s and the 13s, all that kind of stuff, right? So that is what I'm listening for at the fourth stage, all the extensions of a chord, right? If I have a chord here, I know this is a minor, right? I know in the main chord I can get up to a 7th, because in the 4 main chords you're listening for the 4 main chords that are usually being played within 1 octave, meaning a 7th. So you can hear that. That's a minor. This is stage 3. That's minor. Is that major or minor? Listen to that. Is that major or minor? All right, that's major. How about this one? Major or minor? Come on, let me know. Major or minor? That's major. That's major. How about this one? That's minor. Right? How about this one? See that one? See, and here's the thing. Check this out. So I'm gonna change this out. See, here's the thing that I talk to some people about when they talk to me about theory. Look at this chord right here. Right? Listen to it. It's minor. My ear tells me that it's half diminished. My ear tells me that this chord is actually a half diminished chord, and sometimes that will happen to me. Right? I'll call that a half diminished, and someone says it's clearly minor. Well, is it? Because if I take this G and move it down an octave, for the ear doesn't see. Remember, the ear is hearing the whole quality. The ear is not concerned with the technical details of the difference between a minor 6 and the fact that every minor 6th is a half diminished chord. The ear doesn't care about that. The ear just hears a sound, right? So that's why sometimes I'll be saying one thing and I'll be calling one chord one thing and another, and you're like, why is he calling this half diminished and it's minor? Because I'm hearing it as a half diminished. We talked about an E flat, right? This is the major. It's major, but I throw a C on it, and all of a sudden it becomes minor. You understand what I'm saying? So this is where and that's why I call myself, in a lot of my teaching, I say I'm an ear musician, because it really depends on what I'm hearing, right? It depends on what you're hearing, and that depends on how that's going to determine how things go. You guys can, if you break this barrier, you will that wall that a lot of you feel like you're at, where you hit a wall, it'll fall. You just go straight. You know, be saying you go straight through it, because you won't be so confined to how things are supposed to be. You can use your ear to grow, and you can use your ear to make improvements and adjustments. Let me go to the last stage. The last stage is the stage 5. That's polychords. Okay, so polychord is where you have one quality on top and a different quality on bottom. Those are really hard to hear. Like if I did this kind of a chord here, that's kind of hard to hear, right? Does anyone know what that is? Can anyone tell what that is? You want me to play it? Do you want me to play it with the notes staggered? Let's try it. That's actually very easy for me to hear if it's staggered. And when it's played together, it's a little bit difficult for me. But I can get it if it's staggered, because I'm going to hear this. Okay, so that's my diminished. See? And then here, that's another diminished. Now someone's going to say, I thought you said that a polychord was 2 different types of chords. Well, yeah, even though they're two types, in this case, they're 2 types of diminished chords. So sometimes you'll have that. So polychords are a little bit more hard to hear. And I make sure that my stage 1 is solid, because 2 notes is where it's at. Let me show you something. Let's just take this for example. I'm gonna take chordy off the screen. I'm going to play that chord progression again. And I want you to tell me what you think about that. Right? right, so if I was transcribing that chord progression, I'm not actually transcribing the chords of that progression. I'm transcribing the bass note interval in stage 1. Check this out. Perfect fourth. Perfect fourth. Perfect fourth. See, the bass notes are all moving in perfect fourth. I just made up a little thing just now to show you that even though those chords may sound, some say, oh, those chords, I like those chords. But all I did was just choose notes that were all separated by an interval of a perfect fourth. Right? That's all I did. And so if I were to have focused on stage 4, trying to hear the literal quality of each chord, it would take me a long time. And that's why y'all are taking so long. Right? You could be focusing on the wrong thing. You could be focusing on the wrong thing. So this video is going to help a lot of people, even though I didn't even do no transcribing. And because think about it, when I do my reaction videos, I personally have gotten a lot better, because when I first started transcribing, I couldn't do what I did on the last reaction video that I did. It would take me a while to figure out until I kind of simplified things in my own head to where I was able to listen to Corey Henry's yesterday. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And was able to, hear him almost on the spot, able to pick up a lot of what he was doing, because because of the kind of intervals I'm listening for. Okay, it has nothing to do with your your level, how well you play. It has to do with how well you're able to determine these pitches. Stage 1, don't skip it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. I think this is really good. This is good. Something like that. Here's a question: how do we actually grow our ear? How do you grow your ear? You grow your ear by transcribing. So every gospel musician needs to transcribe. Every gospel musician needs to transcribe. You transcribe by figuring out chords on your own. We grow our ear by using our ear, and it's helpful to know these stages, because now at least you know, oh, this is what I should be working on right now, And so I think this is going to be helpful for a lot of you. Go ahead, I'm going to have a PDF for you to download. So look in the description area for a PDF to download. On my website, I teach a course on this. I go into detail on how to hear the intervals and how to hear, and I go through examples and all of that. So that's also on my website. So if you want to see more information about that, look in the description area. I have a lot of stuff. Go ahead and check out some of my live stuff so you can hear my process. Go look at some of my reaction videos and hear me live, just trying to figure stuff out. And this is going to help you. And the better you get at this, the more you can take songs, anything you hear, and just pretty much add whatever you want to add to your vocabulary. You're no longer restricted to waiting for a tutorial. You could literally take a song and figure out the stuff yourself. One more story, all right? Because I know I just want to say this one more thing. I remember when I was in school, and there's a guy who was blazing. He was doing some crazy stuff, and I never had the luxury of somebody coming and just saying, "Hey, Sean, here are the chords." Right? I always had to figure stuff out. And people crowding around the people, everybody trying to figure, "Oh, show me what you did. Show me what you did." And I realized, I said, you know what? I can hear some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm a short guy. I'm trying to look over everybody's head, trying to figure out what the people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Use your ear. Use your ear. Your ear. Your ear can figure all that stuff out. And you can grow, and you don't even have to. Sometimes the guys they can't even tell you what they did. I mean, it was going so fast. A lot of guys aren't thinking theory when they're playing. They're just trying to play. So if you're able to get your own ear, you could actually, go pretty far.